The Red Sox first deadline trade is officially here, and I don't know how people are going to feel about it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm recording this way too early in the morning right now, but welcome to deadline day. The Red Sox, it appears as though, are saving all their trades until today at some point, so this could be a pretty big day on Red Sea Radio. I'd pay attention to notifications today if I were you, but we did get our very first trade from the Boston Red Sox of the 2025 trade deadline season, and it officially means the Red Sox are buying in on this team. So we're going to go over the trade itself, who's coming in, who's going out, why this trade was made, and ultimately whether or not we think this was a good trade for this Red Sox team. And we're going to start with who's coming in for the Boston Red Sox, because pretty much exactly at midnight last night, Jeff Passan announced that the Red Sox are acquiring left-handed reliever Steven Matz from the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, 2024 Steven Matz, not exactly fantastic. 2025 Steven Matz, it's a little bit of a different story. The 34-year-old on the last season of his 4-year deal with the Cardinals currently has a 3.44 ERA in 55 innings with an even lower 2.88 FIP, meaning even pitching to the tune of a 3.44 ERA, he was getting a little bit unlucky with the defense behind him. He has a 1.182 WHIP and a 1.21 ERA plus. That's 21% above league average production. This season, he has an extremely successful fastball. Really, it's a sinker. It's not really a true four-seam fastball. It's rated in the 89th percentile amongst major leaguers, so that's an extremely important thing to take note of, as well as his curveball, which hitters are having a really tough time seeing this season. He's also really great at getting the ball in the zone. Walks have been a little bit of a problem for the Red Sox lately, so what do? They go out and they get a guy that has a 4% walk rate, which is in the 98th percentile amongst Major League Baseball players. He's one of the hardest guys to draw a walk from in the entire game. Not a huge strikeout guy, though. Striking out about 7.7 hitters per 9 innings, which always scares me a bit when we're talking about left-handed slop throwers coming into Fenway Park. It always feels like those guys have a little bit of a difficult time keeping the ball in the yard, although Steven Matz this season has done a really good job of limiting hard contact as well as limiting balls that leave the yard, so maybe this is a bit of a different story. I did look into what he's done at Fenway Park before, because obviously being 34 years old, he does have a little bit of history behind him, and it's not exactly fantastic. It is a really small sample size, though. It's a 5.19 ERA with 15 Ks, no home runs, though, in 17 1/3 innings, so we'll kind of see what the Red Sox end up doing with him. Obviously, they clearly have a plan for making him work in the bullpen, and that brings me to my second point here. Why would the Red Sox go after a guy like this? And to be honest with you, I don't exactly know what Steven Matz's role is going to be on this Red Sox team, right? The Red Sox needed high leverage relief innings coming into the deadline. I think that was pretty clear, right? With Chapman dealing with the back issues, with Jordan Hicks not being able to figure some things out, with Alcala's performance lately, it felt like, hey, the Red Sox really need to hammer home a high leverage arm. Steven Matz isn't exactly a high leverage arm, right? He's been a starter this year. He's going to be a reliever for the Boston Red Sox. We know this for a fact, as Alex Spear did confirm that late last night. So we know he is going to be coming out of the bullpen, but it creates an interesting situation in the bullpen, right? Because now you've got Matt, you've got Bernie, you've got Chris Murphy, you've got Justin Wilson, and you've got to roll this Chapman from the left-hand side. That is a majority of lefties in the bullpen, right? That's what, only 3 guys from the right-hand side for the Red Sox to lean on going forward throughout the rest of the season. I don't really know what kind of role Steven Matz is actually going to fill, and that's what's really interesting to me about this deal, right? I sit here and I'm trying to piece it together, and I think what the Red Sox are trying to do here is they're trying to sort of push guys like Justin Wilson into a more high leverage situation, right? Because before it was sort of, okay, if Murphy and Bernie weren't good to go, you were bringing in Justin Wilson in the 6th or 7th inning. Now you can kind of use him as that 8th inning setup guy to get to a Aroldis Chapman. I think that's actually a really good spot for Justin Wilson. So my guess here with Steven Matz, instead of going out and getting a high leverage reliever, they're pushing some of the other guys in this bullpen into high leverage spots. And again, if it's a guy like Justin Wilson, I actually don't hate this idea at all. At the end of the day, I think ultimately the Red Sox needed arms, right? And that's just simply is what it is. You sit here and you talk about what did the Red Sox need at the deadline. You needed someone else in this bullpen, and they went and they got somebody to fill a bullpen role. I'm just very curious to see what this bullpen role actually looks like. Is Chris Murphy's job safe? Is Brandon Bernardino's job safe? I would have to imagine Murphy's job is safe, right? He's been been really solid this season. I imagine Justin Wilson's job is safe. To me, this feels like the first step in trying to complete the picture, right? It feels like there's another move coming that's going to make it a little bit more clear as to where Steven Matz is actually going to sit in the bullpen. But ultimately, the Red Sox, they picked themselves up a really solid relief pitcher, right? They picked up someone who's having a really solid season, who has experience being really solid, specifically out of the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. So ultimately, I don't hate this trade at all. Any arm in the bullpen, to me, especially arms that have been really reliable this season, is someone I'm not going to complain about. However, obviously, to get something, you have to give something at the deadline, and this is where I think a lot of people are going to have some pretty strong opinions about this trade. Because going back to the St. Louis Cardinals, in basically a one-for-one swap here, the Boston Red Sox sent Blaze Jordan over to the St. Louis Cardinals, at least according to Jeff Passan, who is always right when it comes to these kind of things. Blaze was currently, the Red Sox number 19 prospect. I know immediately there are going to be people who absolutely hate that the Red Sox moved Jordan. First baseman with some pop, absolutely crushing it in minor league baseball right now with a 304 average, a 374 on base percentage, and a 494 slug this season across AA and AAA, although I will say those numbers are pretty inflated with his AA numbers. He's definitely come back down to earth quite a bit since he's gotten to AAA. It's now right around a league average bat, as opposed to it was like a 168 WRC plus he had in AA, so there was a little bit of come down here, and a lot of people had really high hopes for Blaze Jordan, right? A lot of specifically Red Sox fans, they loved the pop that he could bring. He played solid defense. He was a really great story. There were a lot of emotional attachments amongst Red Sox fans when it came to Blaze Jordan, and I think Red Sox fans really highly regarded who he could have been at the major league level. However, I'm not entirely shocked by this deal, and it's because I think the Red Sox organization themselves had a bit of a different stance on who Blaze Jordan was going to be. I mean, if you think about it, he was never really a part of the Red Sox plans of the future, right? Every single time they mentioned first base, basically since Tristan Casas came down, Blaze Jordan was never a part of those conversations. It was guys like Christian Campbell moving over to first base. It was guys like Nick Sogard getting more reps at first base. Vaughn Grissom getting some reps at first base. Hell, they even tried to get Masataka Yoshida to start taking some ground balls at first base, right? There was never any mention of Blaze Jordan when it came to Craig Breslow letting it slip that he's looking for a longer-term solution at first base, right? It was always, we're looking outside the organization, or we're looking at moving a player to the first base position to cover first base going forward. It was never, hey, we got this guy's Blaze down there, we'll see kind of what he does, and maybe he'll be an impact at some point this year, right? And to me, that indicated pretty instantly here that the Red Sox didn't feel as though there was really a spot going forward for Blaze Jordan on this Red Sox team. Now, on top of that, he was also Rule 5 eligible at the end of the season, meaning the Red Sox had to make a decision here, right? They were either going to move him, or they were going to protect him, or they were going to lose him. And if they weren't going to protect him, which all signs pointed to them not going to protect him, he was probably getting picked up in the Rule 5 draft, right? Because he's pretty close to Major League ready. So they end up turning something that they were probably going to lose in the Rule 5 draft into this reliever that could potentially help the Red Sox make the postseason. And for that, I don't really hate this at all. To be honest with you, the values of these two guys are actually pretty close. Steven Matz is about $1.8 million off of being zero. Blaze Jordan is about $1.8 million above the zero number when it comes to baseball trade value. So on paper, this trade actually makes a lot of sense for the Red Sox. The value is there when it comes to this deal. And so I think while Red Sox fans themselves highly valued Blaze Jordan, I just simply don't think the Red Sox felt the same way. I think the Red Sox felt as though this was a guy who was going to end up being a depth, the sort of bench piece for the Red Sox as opposed to an everyday starter. And whether that's the right or wrong way of looking at it, depending on who you talk to, I think that's why the Red Sox made this deal, right? They said, okay, this guy in our eyes doesn't really have a true future on the Boston Red Sox. However, Steven Matz can help us win now, and that's why we're going to make this deal work. Overall, I don't know if this was the big splash that we were hoping the Red Sox would make out of the bullpen, right? I think we were kind of hoping for something a bit bigger from the Red Sox to fill in the back end of that bullpen. So, first trade of the trade deadline, I'm kind of dead in the middle on it, right? I'm not incredibly excited about it. I'm not incredibly hurt that the Red Sox gave up Blaze Jordan. I always kind of figured in the back of my head this would be a guy the Red Sox would move at some point this season, or specifically some point in the offseason. I sit here with this one, and it just simply doesn't do a ton for me, right? It gives you someone in the bullpen, and it's a reliable arm that's been reliable this season, and I think that obviously helps the Red Sox improve. I just don't know what role he's actually going to end up being in, and that's what kind of scares me about this one, right? How does this actually make your bullpen better? I simply don't know the answer to that question. It's going to be a wait and see, right? Clearly, the Red Sox saw something in Steven Matz and have a plan for where he's going to work out of the bullpen. So I'm kind of in wait and see mode with Steven Matz. I also don't think this is the full picture just yet. I think there's going to be more to come for this Red Sox team. I think we're going to be making, hopefully, multiples of videos today talking about what the Red Sox are doing at this year's deadline, but this is just simply the first domino to fall. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What do you think about Steven Matz coming back? What do you think his role is going to be with the Red Sox? And then, of course, let me know what you think about them trading away Blaze Jordan. I have a pretty good feeling a lot of you guys are going to absolutely hate this because there's a lot of emotional attachment to Blaze Jordan amongst Red Sox fans. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton. It's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you guys want to listen instead of watch, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Sea Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Keep an eye on this channel today because I have a feeling this isn't going to be the only video we're making. But until then, I will see you in the red seats.